My name is Sam Wagner. I grew up mostly in California. I was born in Auburn, but we moved around a lot. So uh, that we lived the longest when I was a kid was Vacaville. We were there for several years, junior high and high school. We lived there for like 6 years, so we still moved around in the area, but the Vacaville was the closest to a hometown I had. Well, my time there, it was a lot smaller, and I think that's the biggest change. As far as I know, the people or the neighborhoods are still very much the same as they were before, but uh, it just all got bigger, and it got bigger and mashed up into the town next to it, and not mashed up into the town next to it. It's this whole uh, uh, suburban metropolis. Yeah, I believe it was junior high, and how violent it was in junior high. Um, yeah, it was at lunchtime. I was just standing there eating my lunch, and out of everybody's way, and this dude gets punched in the face and knocked down right in front of me, and I'm like, holy shit, what kind of fucking school is this? You know? And that was turned out to be a lot more frequent occurrence than I thought it would be. Yeah, my father was a horrible person, and if he's still alive, then he's still a horrible person. My mother, you've met her. She's a sweet old lady, a little bit insane, but with the best of intentions. She did a lot of secretarial work, administrative, sort of low end. She helped my father with his work. He was a dental technician, so they made like molds for teeth and dentures and shit. So as a family, we didn't do a whole lot as a family. We ate dinner usually as a family. We occasionally we do like the little white people's American dream. We'd go have a picnic, or we'd go someplace where we were supposed to learn something about our culture or something, and it usually ended up in a total disaster. We'd watch TV. That was the easiest thing to do. Just normal people stuff. I don't think it. There's just little suburban areas everywhere we went. Areas that, as I got older, I noticed would be poorer and poorer. But looking back, we were always really poor growing up. Just uh, we never really talked about it, about being poor. Just I just remember my parents, my mother would get stressed and my father would get angry, and the word bills would be in the air. And paying the bills is a bad time to talk to your father. It was always a predominantly white area that we lived in, because it would be like speckles of minorities here and there, but uh, being racist was never like a thing that seemed overt either. Like you could see the racism, like looking back, knowing now, you know, as a grown up, uh, you can see all the childhood racism that goes on. Your grandmother, my mother, um, is sitting right up here having food in a Mexican restaurant. It's a fucking Mexican restaurant. We're being served by Mexicans. There is no secret about this. But in the conversation, she used the word Mexican to describe somebody, and she had to whisper it. Mexican. I'm like, why are you whispering the word Mexican? Well, I don't want them to think I'm racist. My father would outright use the N-word, but never to their face. I think less out of respect and more he was just afraid to that people would see him as a racist. But at home, he would use the N word, or he would use other racial uh, slang for other races. I'd be trying to enjoy like a stand-up set from a black comedian, and then all my father could talk about was, look at this F and N word, you know? And like, you didn't even hear what he was saying. He's telling some funny jokes. I don't understand it. I was like 8, you know? Didn't know a whole lot about cocaine at the time, but I'm sure the jokes were funny. Yeah. Pretty sure it was Richard Pryor. Oh yeah, yeah. Um, in Vacaville, we started off in a more white area, but we ended up in a more Mexican area. Even in the predominantly Hispanic area, there were still a bunch of white people, and they were just as poor as everybody else. But uh, they still saw themselves as better than everybody else there. I lived in Indiana for a short time too, and that place was more outwardly racist there because there was like 99.9% white people there, and like there was like one black kid at the school that I recall. He was like the black kid from the black family in town. Maryland lived in a more urban area, and in some of the urban areas there's a decent mix of all kinds of demographics. Those are in the upper ends, or the middler ends, I guess. The lower ends, it's very segregated because I lived in the lower end there. That Wood Street house, that's on the edge of the lower end. It's on the white end. It's on the white end of the shithole of Baltimore. And you go a few blocks over, and you're into. Well, it was a black end. I'm not sure where the lines have shifted now. There's all kinds of government projects going on.